Sage.
And I'm Andrew Smith. We're talking about...
You're all fired up today.
Yeah! Strategic short sales.
Strategic short sales.
Is there such a thing?
No, I can't really say right now because it just... It's a gray area.
It's a very gray area, and it's something that is... it's making a little news, making a little headlines here and there.
Making some waves.
And bottom line is... We wanted to talk about it because we've been getting some questions on, do you think the strategic short sale could work? And the bottom line is, I don't know. And I think it's going to vary from situation to situation.
Yeah.
When you have somebody that is in a short sale situation, typically, no matter what happens, normally what you're doing is you're following a set procedure. You're gathering all of the financial documents, you've got full disclosure going on, you're giving the bank a reason why you need to sell. You're submitting this entire package to the bank.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you are waiting on to see what their response is going to be and following up. In this particular case, you have someone that does not have a financial need to sell.
Right.
You have somebody that's in a situation where they probably have some assets, maybe not enough assets to cover the difference.
Right.
We are usually seeing this in much higher end homes that have fallen substantially. So you may have a $2-3 million property.
Right.
For instance, you've got somebody that may have several $100,000 in the bank, but those property values have fallen, 30, 40, 50%. Now all of a sudden you've got a house that at the peak of the market was worth about $3 million. If it was to sell now, 1.5, 1.6.
You mean their values have dropped too?
Yeah, man.
I'm so tired of hearing that immunity thing. I'm immune to that.
But they can afford their payment.
Right.
There's not a problem with the income. There is no job relocation. There's none of the hardships that we've covered previously. So now you've got a situation where you've got this person that from a purely business perspective, they want out. They don't want to be in that property. And fair enough.
Yep.
So they've got a couple of choices here. They can walk.
They can walk.
They can walk. Will the lender pursue them? More than likely.
Yep.
After the fact for a deficiency, but they can walk. The other thing is they're starting to come up saying, well, what if we were to do a strategic short sale?
Yeah.
And we have heard nothing concrete from the banks yet.
Correct.
At all on how they're willing to look at this, but we understand the logic behind it. If the bank go forward and foreclose on this property, they're now looking at a substantial loss.
Correct.
We all know that even in that market, foreclosures sell at a discount.
Yep.
So the homeowner's position on this is, look, I may even be willing to come in with some cash.
Yep.
I may be willing to contribute to this, but you're going to get more money if you let me sell it now than if you go through the foreclosure process. Let's try and work this out. And all I'm going to tell you is I guarantee that first call to customer service is not going to get anywhere.
And it's not going to be pleasant either.
No, it's not.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so have $750,000 in the bank. They don't really need to sell, but they don't want to be upside down. So as a business decision, they'd like to sell their home as a short sale. Now, as you already said, it's not that it's impossible. It is possible. I think that the thing that gets under my skin is the fact that there are people out there right now advertising and promoting on YouTube, on the internet, and I've even heard on the radio
that they can guarantee
that we can strategically get you out of your property right now so you can buy another property almost identical, red apple for red apple at today's market value. And I'm telling you right now, it is not that likely.
Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that likely. So bottom line is we did want to touch on the subject. We don't know for sure exactly what the answer is here. Openly admitting, we don't have a solid answer for you. We are trying to find out. We're trying to use our contacts within the different banks and saying, hey, how many of these are you seeing? What's your standard position? Obviously, they're being very careful in the information they come back. They're not going to openly turn around and go, oh yeah, we are openly considering all strategic short sales. That would open the floodgates and cause a huge problem. But there are cases where it may be considered. And one of the ways that it may be considered, I have heard, is that you've got someone that's making their own decision to just stop paying their mortgage and let the foreclosure process start. And then turn around and try and get...
That's like Russian roulette.
That's Russian roulette.
That's crazy.
They're gambling because the bank may participate with them or they may not. They may just proceed with the foreclosure, then you're out. Unless you're paying cash for a new house, you're not getting anything.
Well, and Fannie and Freddie just came out last week and was talking about things similar to this. They didn't say strategic short sale in so many words, but what they were talking about was the fact of all this weird gray area illegal stuff that's going on. They now have full teams of investigators that are investigating every file going back as many as 5 to 7 years to see if people have strategically tried to default on their property to then buy and bail or do things that are absolutely wrong. So remember this, if you're a homeowner, I understand that there's a lot of emotion in the market right now, and the fact that if you paid more than what the home is currently worth right now, which is about 80% of the country, understand that. But when you wanted that money, you did everything in your power to get that money from the bank. Okay, if you pay cash, you're not in this position. You don't have to sell short. You're selling yourself short. But now what's happening is the mentality is the bank's the bad guy. They gave me the loan, and the home isn't worth what it was a few years ago. Now I just want out. It's just going to be really difficult. Humanize it. Remember,
exactly.
We've given this example 100 times. If you borrow the money from grandma and you've spent the money on something and it's not worth what it's worth now, like a car, for example, you're not going to go back to grandma and say, "I'm not paying you back." Unless you're a douchebag.
Plain and simple. So if anyone out there has information, maybe they've successfully completed one of these sales, they've got additional information, we would love to hear from you. www.s2neg.com. See you next time.